Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome to my demon guide video on how to play demon optimally and oppressive so you can win every match. These will be more general tips that work for every demon, not very demon specific or build specific. These are just some tips and things that I've learned along the way as a demon main. If you'd like to see more demon specific tips or demon builds, comment down below. Let me know what demon you'd like to see and I would work on a video. Let's get started. Alright, so you just loaded into the match, and first thing you're going to want to do is obviously level up. This is more basic. You should already know how to do this, I'm assuming. What I found that works the most is you want to more prioritize setting up traps on chests as they net more experience. But you know, just basic leveling at this point. Now, ideally you'd want to get to around threat level 4. Reason being, you'll at least want one level in basic unit or elite unit, depending on which your build goes towards. Next, you'd want 2 levels in traps. If you don't want 2 levels in traps, then I'd recommend going 1 in trap and then 1 in infernal energy. Traps are very good in this game. There's no reason not to pick them. Again, it depends on your build, but these are just the ones I choose that work for every demon. Now, during this phase, if a survivor makes noise, if they drive a car, or if their fear level goes up, they're going to show up on your map. Immediately then, you're going to want to mark that point in the map and start traveling towards it. You'll learn as you keep playing the game that the sooner you could get a drop on them, the easier the match is going to be for you, because you're going to be cutting off their momentum and their looting. While traveling to them, you're going to want to spawn troops as you're moving. Now, the reason being is that you gain XP for dropping units, but then you also gain XP for picking up infernal energy. I see a lot of guides on YouTube that would mainly say that your best bet is just set up traps all the time. That's not exactly what you want to do. If they make noise, you're immediately going to want to get towards them. But if you just have max energy and you're traveling towards them and you're just like hovering over the infernal energies, you're not getting any XP for doing that. So dropping troops would deplete your energy bar, which also gives you more experience, and then you're able to pick up more infernal energy as you're traveling to them. So you locate the survivors. What's next? What you're going to want to do is, if they're in a building or you know what location they're going towards, you're going to want to trap up that area as much as you can. By that point, you should have already gained another level or 2. So depending on your build, you're going to want to max out traps. That's a free elite spawn, and not only that, it increases their terror quite a bit. Level 3 traps are incredibly useful depending on your build. Some builds don't require elite spawns, but most do. The reason why it's so strong is you can have multiple elites pop out depending on how many traps they trigger, which is not normal if you were just summoning them. Also, when a survivor triggers a trap, they usually get hit by the first attack that comes out of the trap if they're not expecting it. You're going to want to focus solo or split teams. If a team is split, say there's a solo survivor and then there's 3 somewhere else, you're going to want to target the solo guy. Reason being is you get a lot of points for downing somebody and also killing them. Things you don't want to do is harass the team for a bit and then move on to the other team because you're thinking, okay, they're going to do something else. I need to stop them from doing what they're doing. That's not a good thing to do. It's generally better to down those people first and then move on to the next one, because it's very likely that that other team is going to see them getting down or getting attacked and they're going to start traveling towards them. If they don't do that and they allow you to get those kills, then that just means it's 2 weaker teammates on their team because they're not able to loot as they're getting attacked. And there's no way they're going to make it out if there's only 2 players on their team that actually got a chance to loot. Also, this is a big one. Don't stay on a target if you have no energy. There's no use in just watching them fight your minions if you have no energy to possess anything or be involved in the fight. It's okay to leave and start collecting infernal energy around the area and then come back. They're not going to get far that fast. It's better that you just regain energy and then plan your next attack or rearm traps in that area. Speaking of rearming traps, always do this. If you're constantly resetting traps in a building and you're not letting them leave, they're constantly having to fight, they for the most part lost at that point. Because at that point you're gaining so much experience from initiating the fight over and over. Not only that, they're wasting all their resources in terms of ammo or items and amulets and stuff like that. They're going to need a resupply, but if you just stay on them, they're not going to be able to. Not only that, they're wasting time for the other objectives. Don't get overly greedy to get kills. You don't have to wipe out the team very early on in the game, so don't beat yourself up about it. The main purpose for early game is stalling. That's all you're going to want to do. Stall, get downs when you can, level up as fast as possible while limiting how much they could gain resources. Now let's talk about possession. Now, depending on your build, possessing a survivor could be an absolute godsend, especially if they have really good weapons. I typically would only possess a target if they're split or to move a player off a point to reduce the progress bar. If you didn't know, if there's only one survivor on an objective, like the dagger or the note, then if you just possess them and take them off the point, that progress bar is going to go down and they're going to have to do that fight all over again. Now, when you don't want to possess a survivor is when they're all surrounded by their buddies. If they're on comms, they're easily going to say, I'm being possessed. It takes a couple seconds for you to gain control. By that time, you're already out. Reason why possessing targets, some say it's going to be endgame. It could be, but overusing it is not that great as well, because if you possess them and they mention to their teammates that, hey, I've been possessed, you're easily going to lose all your infernal energy. Reason being is when you possess a survivor, your HP is dictated by your infernal energy pool. The more you get hit, the faster it goes down. They'll knock you out once it depletes to 0. You might not even have time to accomplish anything or get any value out of it. Also, a quick advanced tip: say you're the only survivor left on the point, the other survivors are dead around it. First thing you want to do is get off the point. Then you're going to want to shoot the dead teammate's body. Now, it may seem like you're just being an ass, which it kind of does look like. I mean, if most people probably don't know this, but you also do gain infernal energy from shooting a corpse, somebody's dead body. If you don't know that, then you're just going to look at that like, wow, this person's a prick. Shotguns do the most. I think it's the pellet spread. So you're going to want to like slowly time your shots and you'll just keep your energy up. You probably won't need to worry about this if you focus more about building your character around possession and duration and stuff like that. But for anybody that hasn't, this is perfect. Now, when possessing an evil unit, I see this happen a lot. It happened to me quite a bit, but I learned how to counter it. When you get unbalanced and you're just stun locked, you need to just unpossess it right away. You might have a lot of health, but honestly, you just getting beat on by 4 survivors, you're not getting anything done whatsoever. And they're not really losing much, to be honest. So I would just recommend unpossess it, sacrifice that unit, go on to the next one. Characters like Warrior Ash can immediately break your balance, and when that happens again, and say you do regain your balance, by the time you're getting back up to be able to control your character again, you can get staggered again. So yeah, it's just a complete waste of energy by staying in there, and you're not getting much done. Now, possessing cars, don't do it. On to the next tip. Nah, but yes, the reason why you don't want to possess cars, it's not worth it. I'm being completely honest, it's just not worth it. It costs 100 to possess a vehicle. Vehicle controls in this game are wonky as hell. So if you're looking at them crashing into trees and you're like, let me possess their vehicle to get it away from them, you trying to drive it away, you're probably going to do the exact same thing, and you're not going to leave it that far off. Not only that, there's so many vehicle spawns in the game that they could probably just move like 10 feet away and there's another vehicle. So you gain nothing from doing that. Also, possessing a vehicle is like possessing a survivor. It's based on how much infernal energy you got, and if you take damage, that gets reduced. So if the other passengers in the vehicle are prepared for it to be possessed, all they have to do is once they get out of the vehicle, they just shoot it or melee it, and then bam, they're back to having their car again, which also is an issue for you because now you have 0 energy for no gain whatsoever other than slow them down for a split second. What I found works best for if they're in a vehicle is if they're on the main road, you're going to want to spawn a troop down, take possession of that troop, and then try to get in front of the vehicle as it's driving. You can body block a vehicle. It takes damage if it hits you, and it won't push you down, knock you off. It won't kill you immediately. It'll just mess with your balance meter. That's about it. Use your boss sparingly or for quick kills. What you're not going to want to do when you have your boss unit is spawn them in when there's no other evil units around. That's the quickest way to lose your boss, because that just means that's 4 survivors ganging up on you. You're not going to get much done. The best time to use a boss is on split teams, or most of the team is very weak and it'll just be quick killing. Next up, one thing I see survivors do a lot is split up to do both objectives at the same time, doing both dagger and note. People think it's a better way of doing it, or like it's meta or something. It really isn't. It actually works to their detriment. One thing you do need to know is if an objective gets completed, all survivors get brought back to life. What I like to do is I like to wait until that objective gets complete before I try to kill the other survivors on this point that I'm contesting. If I were to kill them before and then travel all the way there, the chances of me not making it sometimes does happen, and then now I actually have to go back to the point that those guys just spawned again at, and I'm just losing so much from that. So best thing to do, wait until that other objective is finished, then summon your boss, get quick kills on either 2 or 3 of them, or just 1, it depends on how many there are. So you're not going to be forced to have to kill those other survivors that you just finished off again. When exercise from a location, you're going to want to go into your map and pin that exact location that you're getting exercise from. If you're not used to the map or know any of the names of the areas that you're at, then this would be a really good tip for you, as you will know exactly where they're at or where you last were at and be able to get the drop on them again. Now, when I say get the drop on them again, that's exactly what you're going to want to do. A lot of players would usually just go to the next objective and trap up there and then just wait for them. That's a huge mistake. You're going to want to constantly be on their back, giving them no time to reduce their fear, no time to restock on ammo, on items, stuff like that. The more you're on them, the less they're able to do the things that would make them stronger. Now, this is a quick one. Don't chase for too long as a possessed unit. If you take possession of one of your evil units and say one of the survivors starts running from you, you running with that possessed target is not going to do you much. Sure, you're going to be able to catch up to them. Most of the time you can. What I find better to do is just to release that possessed unit and then reposition. Set up traps in the area that they just left or cut them off. That's usually what's best to do. You running around as a possessed unit, it's not getting much done, and you're losing the potential of setting up traps in other locations. Now, lastly, say they completed all the objectives, defeated the evil ones, and now they're on the Necronomicon. Now you have to destroy that book. I will say, don't destroy the book. There's another way to achieve victory in the game, other than destroying the book, is just by downing everybody. I find that way easier to do than just focusing on the book and keeping your back towards the other survivors. That's a quick way to get clapped. Don't do that. Just attack the survivors. You got 2 minutes. You're gonna have to be quick with it, but it's a lot easier than destroying that book, which just takes a long ass time. It takes a lot of focused attacks. Now, I do got one more tip. Not really going to be something that's going to improve your gameplay, but it will improve your gameplay experience depending on if you actually enjoy this kind of stuff. Personally, this is how I play the game. Most people want to just get a quick victory and just be done with it, move on to the next match. And that's all well and good. If that's your main game plan, you just want to win the match and get out, sure. What I find the most fun is when you toy with the survivors. You allow them to have chances to revive. You allow them to have chances to complete objectives. If you just constantly overwhelm them with just the amount of sheer evil units on the map, make them fight non-stop, no time to recoup, no time to get items, just non-stop fighting. I like to give them the idea that they have a chance of winning when they really never did. I like to show them that I have the power to end this match, but I choose not to. There's a reason why I don't use my boss that often. The boss could simply just end matches, but I choose to ride out the clock. My goal for when I play is to run out that clock. I will play a full 30-minute match of toying with the survivors for just the feeling of being better than them. Now, I know this might sound very sinister, and it definitely is, but I'm just getting in tune of how the demon should be. What kind of demon does not play with survivors? When you got all your evil units just laughing, staying in the background, just laughing at them. As you know, that last survivor that's fighting for their life, no matter how many they kill, 3 spawn in, 1 more spawns in, and then you just watch. You don't take control of those units, you just watch. You watch the shit show. Now, it isn't all doom and gloom, and it isn't that messed up. Because to be fair, I'm doing them a favor. They're getting more score for killing more of my units, and I'm getting more score for extending the match longer. It's a win-win for everybody, but it feels a lot better for me. Anyways, that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you learned something. If you have any more questions or if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. Evil Dead is a game that brought back a lot of excitement in gaming for me. And while it does have a lot of jank, it really does. I find myself playing it for hours and hours on end, and I can't wait to see all the new content that comes to this game in the future. With that being said, if you like what you saw, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really means a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.